Alright, gentlemen, I'm going to have me some truly classic lime, and we're going to talk about whether or not animals have, my rum's still out here, emotions like humans. Because that's a question for some unexplainable reason. And my ice is frozen to the bottom of this glass, so some of it, no, that's just bubbles. I have to find some time, to try and wait for that to rise. A little ice is rising. This is what happens when I store my ice in the glass in the freezer, which is never a wise idea, but it does mean your ice doesn't melt and it lasts longer. Anyway, so do animals have feelings like humans? Well, let me ask you a question. Do humans have feelings like animals? I mean, animals can enjoy being around certain people. People can enjoy being around certain people. We live in a world where everybody has a certain amount of emotion, and those emotions have meaning, but how important are they? One of the things they did is they taught a gorilla sign language. And they said, what is this gorilla going to talk about? And, they thought the gorilla would talk about food, but it talked about regular things, abstract concepts, life and death, and things that weren't there. So it had established object permanence. I once went to this guy's house, and I would play with his 3 dogs. I did this for years. And, one day, his daughter got married, and I don't think the son-in-law cared for my company, so he didn't want me in the house, and I kind of picked up on this, so I stayed at the front door. Why this was exactly, I never knew. Well, I had an idea, but I never knew for sure. Anyway, and I stayed at the front door, and the dogs got so upset that they didn't get to see me that they would run outside and hang out with me on the porch, which is something they'd never done before. Does this mean that the dogs had emotions like regular people? Well, I would assume that they at least felt joy, happiness, they feel loneliness. And my old dog Gus, well, he wasn't my dog. He was my brother's dog. His ownership was complicated. I think legally he was I don't know. Belonged to someone in my family, lived with my brother and I in the backyard, in our backyard. And my brother is the one that fed him. My brother is the one that walked him. My brother is the one that spent the most amount of time with him. And then one day, I would walk in the backyard, and the dog would go get his favorite toy, and he'd come run to me. And my brother would go to take the toy to play with the dog, and the dog would be like, no, not so much. I want to play with Richard. And it's not, he didn't just want to play with me. He didn't just want to play with his toy. He wanted to play with me specifically. So it shows a certain level of attachment. I mean, old Gus, I remember when we first got him, he was a very sheepish dog. It was a 70-pound Doberman when we found him, when he showed up at my house. The exact details are somewhat difficult to talk about, but, and he wouldn't get anywhere near me. And then one day I was in the backyard, and he kind of walks up close enough for me to put my hand on him. And I put my hand on him, and he tries to pull away. And I start scratching his ear, and then he presses his head into my hip. And, you know, ever since then, you know, the dog would press his head into my hip whenever I went into the backyard. This expressed that he remembered that and he liked it, you know, and we as human beings, it's like, you know, I always use this as a prop. I've got my Pepsi, and I would rather drink Pepsi than this. And I even have Pepsi, and, you know, you would ask, so why are you drinking that? You don't like it. Well, I got to use it up. But something of a complicated set of circumstances came about that I had a reason to purchase this. It was on sale. I make videos and blog posts where I review products. So I therefore had the reason to purchase this product, make a video, and then I had leftover, so I came up with a use for it. Dogs aren't like that. Dog is going to be, well, I'm going to eat what's available to me. And, you know, I'll eat all of what I like first. Then I'll eat what I don't like. And, you know, that's a dog. But let's be honest here. Somebody watching this video has got salad in the refrigerator that they should be eating. I know because somebody making this video has salad in the refrigerator that they should be eating. I mean, if I could figure out a way to eat salad and make videos at the same time, I probably would. Somehow that's never become an option for me, but it would definitely mean I would eat more salad because I commonly buy salad and it just goes bad. Why do I keep buying it? Because I know it's good for me. But, you know, on the one hand, I should really think of how lavish my lifestyle is, that I can buy food and it goes bad. I don't have to eat everything I buy. And on the other hand, there's always things I can't afford. So, yeah. Do animals have emotions like people? I think they do. Their emotions may be simpler than ours. They may not have these great existential questions because you can't really communicate with a dog that physics is a thing. You know, you can't communicate with a dog that the stars they're looking at are billions of light years away and that, you know, they died a long time ago and we're just looking at the light of dead stars. You can't do that. The dog will never understand. The dog has no way to gain that level of vocabulary. If dogs could gain that vocabulary, we probably would have figured out a way by now to communicate with them, you know, in that way. And, you know, is it possible that other animals, like, is it possible that a whale or a dolphin might be able to grasp the concept of the stars? Yes, it's possible. But we, at this point, don't know how to communicate with them in that manner. We have determined that whales have languages. You know, how advanced those languages are, we don't know. But each whale has an individual song, and a pod of whales will all have similar songs. This is pretty much a language. You know, if you consider like somebody from Boston, they talk like somebody from Boston. They see TV, they know that accent is just a Boston thing. They have a dialect. It's not a language unto itself, but it's a subvariant. But, you know, you can get two people who speak the same language who can't communicate, Because despite the fact that they're saying the same words, the way they pronounce those words is very different. So it's not beyond animals to have a language. Now, do understand that just because animals have languages, don't think they're as complicated as ours. An animal language may just have, a few hundred words in it, whereas the average 2-year-old has a couple thousand. All right? But that doesn't make it not a language. There are primitive tribes that have counting systems, okay? And, after a certain point, they say many. Everything above that is many. Do you have 5 cows? Yes, I have 5 cows. Do you have 6 cows? Yes, I have 6 cows. Do you have 11 cows? I have many cows. Where many is the cutoff, I generally think it's around 10, because this is the number you can express easily. And then they said in hotter regions where people don't tend to wear shoes, it may go up to 20. Okay. But what constitutes a language? A language is a set of cues, not necessarily even words, that have meaning. I don't know. Animals have emotion. Their emotions are at least comparable to human emotions. It should be understood that, you might equate a human being to a Tesla, okay? Teslas, some of them can even drive on their own. This doesn't mean they don't do stupid things, like stop at a yellow moon, but it does mean that they're more advanced and more complicated than your 1960s Volkswagen Beetle, which one of the most simple cars on earth. So when we think of animals, it's a little on the speciest side to assume that an animal is just a simpler version of a human. This would give us the impression that humans have somehow a greater right to live, which is not necessarily true. I'm not advocating for veganism, because it's like, look, if we advocated for veganism and we said meat is murder, okay, well, so does that make a dog a murderer because they eat meat? And no matter what you do, they're always going to want to eat meat. You can feed them vegan dog food all you want. It may make them sick. So I have to say, I'm not morally opposed to the consumption of animal tissue. I'm morally opposed to an unkind method of procuring that tissue. Very different. But do animals have emotions? I would say they probably do. They feel fear like we do. They feel pain like we do. They feel joy. And not all animals have the same emotions. I don't know if an amoeba can feel anything. Theoretically speaking, an amoeba, does it even feel hunger? If it's always hungry, no matter how much it eats, does it feel hunger? Is that just a background noise? If it gets enough energy, enough food, it just splits. Now it's 2 amoebas. So do all animals have emotion? I don't know, and I don't think so. But as far as at least other mammals, most of them have feelings just like you or I. It's just one of those concepts. I mean, it's a philosophical question, but in the modern age, it's more of a biological one. Anyway, I'm Richard.
Oogog, Urganog. Daniel Ducky say YouTube gods need long outro so I can tell you comment, like, and subscribe so that this channel can pull trash out of ocean by buying matrices from For Ocean. Also, links to new video now appear. Comment, like, and subscribe, or be cursed by Ugatha. Danger Ducky approves.